Hey everyone, this is Scott from Scorpio Moon Tarot, and I'm doing a little bit of a different video today, much different actually than I usually do. Um, so, the last few days have been a little bit rough for me, and I feel like I'm kind of coming out of that slump, um, but um, I did not want to make this video. I still don't want to. Um, but I'll tell you why I'm doing it in a moment. Um, so while I was going through this time, and basically what I'm going to be speaking about is depression. Um, I was diagnosed with depression probably at least 20 years ago. So it's something that doesn't happen a lot, but when it does, it can um, be very sobering. It can just pretty much zap me down to things that I will talk about in a moment. Um, but what I wanted to say first was that while I was going through this time, there was one particular person who they know who they are and they were there for me. And I tried to push them out, and they said, no, you're not going to. And I thank this person so much because they've helped me. Um, but it's not normal for me to want to talk a lot, when I go through this kind of thing. Um, so this particular person referenced someone that I look up to, but that's Simon from the Hermit's Cave, and they mentioned that they had done a video similar to what I was going through, and I should look at it. And I did look at it, and I decided to do a VR to it. Now it's 10 o'clock at night, 10:23 right now on on a Wednesday night. All right, so for Simon, it would be in the middle of the morning, but I did, or yeah, like 3 a.m. So I did send a message. God, I hope it doesn't wake him up. But I did send a message asking for permission to do this video because this is going to be a VR, and I to that video that he did, and it helped me so much and made me realize that someone like him can go through something similar, then I can too, which I do know, but it helps to know that there's other people that go through this that you don't think might not. And one of his video was the uninvited visitor. And quoting Simon, he said that he wanted his channel not only to be, about what he loves, about tarot, but he also wanted to be someone who isn't afraid of speaking of depression and what it is for them, in the hope that it will connect with others and have people realize that they are not as alone as they think they are. And that's exactly what it did for me. So that's what I want to share with you. I also had a big hit this, I guess you could call it a hit of, I don't know if that's the right word, but a epiphany, of that I needed to do this. And that came from my good friend Orshi in Hungary. And she did a weekly reading at the beginning of the week. And the main message I got out of that was you need to be vulnerable. And not only do you need to be vulnerable, but it is your, I think she said it is your meaning, to be vulnerable. You need to be vulnerable at this point in time. And I knew something was coming because I had been going through this for a few days. So thank you, Orshi, because you made me kind of step over that ledge as far as with Simon too, and not the bad ledge, but the ledge of making this video. So a lot that I resonated with Simon with was the physical symptoms that he has, and for me, maybe a little bit different, but it happens a lot when I don't feel well, and I have not felt well for about 3 weeks now. I've tested negative for COVID twice, but I've had doctors tell me that I do have it because it's not perfect, the testing. So and then there's a long haul COVID that can happen to people, and I don't know if that's what I'm going through. But I am getting better with the physical symptoms, and that also helps me with the mental symptoms to get better and to kind of not push away but deal with what I need to with the uninvited visitor, which is depression. Um, he talked about, feeling lost, feeling afraid, um, just how life changes in an instant. And you feel alone, right? You want to push people away, and I do that. And sometimes people be like, "Where have you been?" Well, oh, nothing. Just had to take a break or whatever. I pushed away. But like I said, there was someone very special in my life, dear friend, that I believe I would be friends with forever, who refused to let me push them away, kind of like my mom used to do. Um, and anything can bring in this uninvited visitor. It could just be out of nowhere, which is kind of the way Simon described it. But a lot of times it's when I'm not feeling well, or I see something, like I saw a picture of my mom. I hadn't seen her for a while, and she has Alzheimer's, so I had not seen her for a while because of lockdown, etc. And my sister sent me a picture of her, and it just threw me into a wacky state of depression, and my uninvited visitor came stomping through the door. And not only that, but as a culmination of kind of things, um, bad decisions that I had made in the past, and feeling guilty for that, and feeling like I hadn't learned from that. Why am I going through this? Why am I having to relearn all these things? And that just made me feel worse and worse and lower of the vibration, and the harder the uninvited visitor came at me. Um, he was talking about masking. That is something I've learned to do pretty well. If you follow me, part of this community, and I'm talking about the tarot community that um, has helped me so much. And I know there's others of you out there that I'm part of that. Um, but I have I made a live video that was wonderful. I had so much fun, but I felt like I was putting on a mask because behind that, I was just really suffering um, with depression, and it makes you not want to speak to people. But I put on this mask and everything's fine, and try to put the attention on other people. How are you? And, let's talk about this, this, and this. And if anybody saw my last live, I went through my cards very quickly because I wanted to get off of me, get off of me and get onto the other people and focus on them, because that's why I wanted to do it anyway. So it worked out. But I have not been to a lot of lives. If you see me come into lives, you might see a hello, and then that's it for the past few days. And it's because um, I, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to be around anybody. I just didn't want to be around anybody. But at the same time, a couple of my friends were having lives, one for the first time, and I wanted to support him. So I came in, said my hellos, and then jetted, and I was out. And of course, I'll try to write, and I apologize for that. But that's, something that I wanted to at least let them know that I recognize that I'm making effort, to just support them as well, even when, I'm not supporting myself very well right now. But like I said, I am on the way, and that's a good feeling, to be out of that. But I also have something, that I know Simon was talking about. He says luckily he could put on his mask and do his job. And unfortunately, I cannot do that. I can do for a couple of hours, but then, and this is me being really vulnerable, I can't do my whole shifts. Like, I just can't. Because I'm on the phone talking to people. And that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to walk across the floor to the desk, to get on the computer. And that's how hard it can be sometimes. Sometimes it's very easily managed. Most of the time it's easily managed. But this go round has been probably my first since my spiritual awakening, over a year and a half. So I didn't expect it. I didn't know that I'd still have these kind of things happen. Um, but yeah, it affects my work. And I know that when I go in tomorrow, I'm not going to get fired. I know that, but they don't. We don't take mental health days in the United States. I don't have sick days or anything like that. I can't go into details about my job, of course, but absenteeism is very serious, and that's another thing that was getting me down. And feel like I couldn't work, couldn't speak to people, and then I wouldn't. I'd call out, and then I feel guilty about that, right? So it's just like this huge spiral. But I know I can make it better again to the point where my absenteeism is good enough that I can, you know, um, do well at my job. At least I hope so. And I have done that before. It's all about bouncing back and resiliency. And Simon talked a little bit about that too. And, I know I'm going to bounce back. I know because I've been through much worse before. So I know I'm going to bounce back. Um, like I said, it's just you feel like you don't want to get up. You feel like there's no enjoyment. Um, and also, I feel like bring people down because I just don't have anything to say much. And if I do, I feel like it comes out the wrong way, and extra sensitive, just very extra sensitive to other people, and you know, um, as was said, in the original video that I did a VR to you, somebody might make a joke, and that happened to me. In fact, today, which I think it was a joke. I'm not sure, but I went into a live. I was gonna do the whole thing, and someone said something, and I said something that was a little, I didn't think it was inappropriate because other people in the community have said just funny things like that. But someone mentioned, that it was kind of inappropriate, or it seemed to me like that's what they were saying, and I immediately deleted the comment and closed down the live and jumped in my bed and put my covers up. And it's not that person's fault. It's just something that was happening to me. And and then I went back and looked, and they said, no, of course I'm not offended. So I'm going to take that as the truth, and that's what they meant. And, nothing held against them because that's something that I created, because I just get very, very sensitive, and that's why I don't want to be around people, when I'm like this, because what's meant as a joke to some people, could come across to people who are depressed, as being an attack. And again, I don't think that's what this was. Um, that's not the reason I'm doing this. The reason is I don't want to bring other people down. Um, and that's where I just stop talking to people. And I might mask a little bit and do a video here and there and seem okay. But, for the majority of the time, it's not good. And I just kind of develop into this other person. It's almost like the uninvited visitor becomes part of me. There's clutter everywhere. When this uninvited visitor comes, he destroys everything. But it's actually me just not caring. I won't take the trash out. Luckily it's only been about a week that this has been going on, but I won't take the trash out. Don't want to take the trash out. Sure as hell don't want to clean. Don't want to do anything. I just want to lay in bed, but that only makes me feel worse. Um, yeah, but if you're only seeing the top here, because if you were to see the bottom, people would be talking for years. But is yeah, the place is trashed just after a week because I just didn't care. Um, I do know that the another thing that was said in the other video that the visitor is not here for long. I did have about like around 2018 when they were around for I got fired from my job and I was down for about probably 6 months with this uninvited visitor and some other health issues. I have an immune disorder um, and it affects me. It's very painful at times, and it just seems like it goes in cycles. It's almost like that uninvited visitor is saying, "Here, I'm going to give you this to get in," and the sickness and the just not feeling well goes right along with my depression, and they don't help each other, do they? They're just going to make each other worse. But I know that I will get through it, and so, people deal with it in different ways. In Simon's video, he's talking about how food. I actually pretty much stop eating when my unexpected visitor comes. But one thing that did happen during this, I say it's been a week, but this has been culminating over a little while for the past couple of weeks. And not proud to say this, and if you want to hate me for this or not watch my videos for this or whatever, that's fine. That's your business. But my thing is not food. It's not alcohol and drugs, even though it was at one time back in my 20s. I dealt with my unexpected visitor by doing drugs and by drinking. But I also was a smoker for 12 years and almost 13. And I stopped smoking on my birthday on 2013. And I picked up a cigarette again a couple of weeks ago. And I am smoking again. If you don't like that, I understand. Don't want to talk to me again. I understand because it's kind of a taboo thing now, right? About smoking cigarettes, and it is just cigarettes. I actually can't even tolerate the other stuff, but that's not important. What's important is I do want to hear from people. I do want to hear what they have to say. Maybe you're not comfortable putting it in the comments down here. I'm going to link my Instagram because I did open that up to everyone, and I changed the name on it so that it's open to everyone in the community and doesn't have my family on there, etc. So we can just talk. I can just post stuff, whatever. But please do not leave comments telling me how horrible it is to be a smoker, because I already know, and I promise you, I've already been harder on myself than you can ever be. Okay, so that's just going to get you deleted from your message deleted. And I'll know that you, you really don't care because you haven't watched the whole video, or you just did, because I'm saying this right after I'm saying the smoking part. So, I do plan on sometime quitting again, but it's not right for me right now. And that might seem, oh, that's, you got an addiction, blah, blah, blah. I know I do. I know. I know that. But I have to get to this state where I can go back to work and be productive, and it does calm me temporarily. Yes, I know it just does the opposite after. But I will know when it's time for me to quit. And the videos I've done before, I don't smoke in them because I was ashamed. But you know what it is, and it gets me through right now. If I suffer the consequences for that later, then I suffer the consequences. Um, but that's what happens sometimes when you are depressed. You go back to those old vices. But I refuse to go back to, drinking heavily again. I do drink wine every once in a while, but I was never an alcoholic. But I was um, addicted to drugs. And I refuse to go back there, even though, yes, cigarette is a drug in a way. I get it. But again, no one knows better than me. And no one knows about losing people close to me because of the same thing. So you don't have to put that in the comments, and I would appreciate you respecting that. Um, so again, just going back to kind of outlining what I, learned through the video I watched. This unexpected visitor is away much more than when he is here. And what Simon said, which really stuck with me, is when he's not here. I need to focus on how great life is when he is not here, right? So this gave this unexpected visitor, called him a he, and I think that's appropriate for me as well. But he's a bitch, and he's real, and it happens. I just didn't realize it would happen after my spiritual awakening, so it caught me by surprise in a way too. But going again by what Simon's saying, because what I'm quoting from him is not I'm stealing. It's I just learned it, right? I learned it, and it just resonated. It resonated so much. And if there's somebody that hasn't seen that and can see this, and my struggle is very similar, but it's not the same. But what he said that really touched me was lift each other up. It needs to be talked about. 1 in 3 people are affected. So if 1 in 3 people, a third of the population of the world, are affected by this, I'm not alone. And I'm doing this so that you're not alone either. And sometimes you just have to go through it, He was talking about shine a light on it, talk about it. And that's why I'm putting my Instagram, so that anybody can send me a message. Again, if you're going to just tell me I'm smoking, I'm just going to delete it. But he said there can't be shadows if we are shining a light. And that made me feel really good. It really did, because, if we're shining a light for each other, right, then life will get better. Will get better. And just again, he was talking about the waiting game. Sometimes you just have to wait. And I know normally, like I said, talk about tarot on here, but I have been pulling cards and going, having tarot help me, and it has helped me. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do tarot. I don't, when this unexpected visitor comes, I don't want to meditate. I don't want to get out of bed. So, and he was saying that it's just a waiting game, sometimes. And that's how it is for me too. I can't just snap and say, oh, I'm better now, because that's masking, right? Sometimes, maybe it's just, you need to be vulnerable and get it out there, because that is kind of the message I got from Warshi. That's the message I got from Simon. That's the message I got from my dear friend who's been helping me with this and just sitting with me when they didn't have to. And I'd just say nothing. He still wanted to sit with me and be there. That's a true friend, and I've been blessed. And but that doesn't mean that I don't have anything to give either, because if you struggle with the same thing, if you want to talk to me, I invite you to talk to me. And like I said, I will put the Instagram, my Instagram on there. I would rather, you can join my Facebook, but I'd rather no one put anything on my page, as a post without asking me first, just because I have family members who are very conservative, and, that I don't talk about these things with, so I don't necessarily want them to know. But I invite you to talk, and I will say, that again, the unexpected visitor is still here. He's in another room right now, but he's pretty close. But he's still here. But I invite you to talk, but I might not reply right away or for a while. I'm just going to be honest because I still am going through it. So it is hard for me to talk at all about this. And saying that, I will close this video. I hope it resonated, and I hope it helps. I hope it helps people who think that maybe they're alone, or just that, this can, just knowing that this can happen to anyone. And the best thing for you to do is reach out. Reach out to other people. And like Simon said, let's shine a light on it, because shadow, cannot survive in the light. So thank you for watching, and I hope everybody has a great night. And I don't know if I said this before, but I am not posting this video until I get permission personally from Simon, because I've said a lot of things that he said in his video, because it's what resonated, and it's what I feel as well. So if you're seeing this, then it has been approved, and that's just the way I do things, out of respect. So thank you again for watching, and I appreciate everyone, and I love everyone in this community. It's just things get rough sometimes, don't they? But it's not the end, and we will bounce back. And I'll leave you with this word, resiliency. I think it's a beautiful word, resiliency. Bounce back. But sometimes we have to bounce back in our own time, when the unexpected or uninvited visitor decides to leave. All right. Thank you, and have a good night, good day, good afternoon, and thanks for watching this. All right, bye-bye.